Dear all, welcome to the first session on the series of Excel for Finance. In this set of videos, we will be learning how to use MS Excel to make finance decisions using certain time tested tools which are very logical. We have instances where we make investments now and reap benefits later, or avail benefits now and repay it later. Both these types of transactions would involve cash flows into or out of an organization or to or from an individual. Sound decision making requires proper understanding of cash flows and the time value of money. Time value of money is an individual's preference for possession of a given amount of money now rather than the same amount in future. The time preference of the money is generally expressed as interest rate. Thus, if a person wants 10% interest on the money, then she would be indifferent between receiving 100 rupees now and receiving 110 1 year from now. This 10% is the rate of return which compensates her for the time she had to wait and the risk she took for a year to get the money. In this example, 100 rupees is the present value, 110 rupees is the future value, 10% is the rate of return and 1 year is the number of period. Let us understand how to calculate the time value of money under different circumstances. We will begin with future value of a single cash flow. What is single cash flow? If you invest some money today, you would receive the money back in one lump sum after some time. For example, X has invested 2.4 lakh rupees at the annual rate of 10% for 3 years. How much will he receive at the end of the third year? We now know that 2.4 lakh is the present value. Let us code it as PV. The interest rate is 10%. Let us call it as I. The period is 3 years. Let it be called as N. Now, we want the future value of this after 3 years. In other words, we want to know the compounded value of 2.4 lakh rupees after 3 years. We know the formula to calculate this, which is FV is equal to PV into 1 plus I power N, and substituting that you will get 3,19,440 rupees. Of course, you may use the TVM table also to arrive at the solution. In that case, you have to refer the table on compound value factor of lump sum. If you see for 10% 3 years, you get a factor 1.331 and you will multiply 2.4 lakh rupees with 1.331, you will get the same answer. Now, we will understand how to use Excel to compute the same. Before that, let us understand the terminologies used in Excel for all the variables we have learnt here. The present value is coded as PV. Interest rate is called rate. The number of period is called NPER. The compounded value or future value is FV. If you input all these variables at the right position in the syntax, you will get the results. Taking the example that we just saw, we are trying to find out the future value or FV in this case given all the other variables. Let us learn how to calculate future value of lump sum in Excel. As you know, each formula in Excel is to be prefixed by an equal to or plus sign, then followed by its syntax. Let us use the formula FV. As you type the formula with FV, help pops up and we can open the bracket as you see here. The variable which has to be put is highlighted here. The first one is rate, where we are selecting the cell. Next is NPER, where we are giving the link for the number of periods. Then you see an argument PMT. We will discuss about this in a while. As of now, let us omit this by adding one more comma and move further. Now it is PV, which refers to the principal. Let us select this. Please note that I am giving a negative sign to this, indicating that it is a cash outflow from the investor's point of view. The next argument is type. We will skip this for now and close the bracket. Once we press enter, we get 3,19,440, the same answer we got before. In the previous example, the interest gets compounded after the end of the year. But what if the compounding is done, say, every quarter? Then after every quarter the interest gets added, and for the next quarter interest is calculated as principal plus interest accrued in the first quarter, and so on. Obviously, the amount you will get after the maturity period will be higher as the interest gets compounded more frequently. It can get compounded monthly, in which case there are 12 computing periods, or quarterly with 4, half yearly with 2 compounding periods. In this case, the future value formula would be FV is equal to PV into 1 plus I by M to the power m into n, where m denotes the frequency of compounding and n refers to the number of years. Thus, m would be 12 or 4 or 2 depending on whether the interest gets compounded monthly, quarterly or half yearly. We see that the compounded value for the previous example would be 3,23,564 for monthly, 3,22,773 for quarterly and 3,21,623 rupees for half yearly. We will now see how it can be done in Excel. All the information remains the same except that we have another variable m. Now again let us put FV, enter the argument for periods, and now note that the period will be divided by m, the frequency of compounding. Then we input NPER. Here m gets multiplied with the year as the compounding happens at m times throughout n. Then leave the argument PMT, input PV, and you know that it is negative PV as it reflects a cash outflow. You find that you get the same answer you got in the formula. We have seen an example of frequency of compounding as months, quarter, etc. What if the compounding happens every hour, minute and so on? As the number of compounding gets larger and larger, the result gets closer to a limiting factor, that is natural E. It is called continuous compounding and the formula will be e power r multiplied by t, where r is the interest rate and t is the time. In the same example, let us see what is the future value if the interest rate gets compounded continuously. It would be 3,23,966 rupees. We understood that the compounding value increases as the frequency of compounding increases, and thus the investment is giving more return than the percentage mentioned on the face. For example, the 10% in the previous case is a nominal rate, and as and when the frequency of compounding increases, the effective rate is higher. How do we find the effective rate? We could use the formula 1 plus nominal rate raised to the power m, which is the frequency of compounding, minus 1. We will also see the value of the same for a 10% nominal rate. The same in Excel would be computed as follows. Let us input the nominal interest rate as 10%, the frequency of compounding say 12 in a monthly compounding. We get the formula effect. Input the nominal rate, that is 10% in this case, and give the NPERY, that is the frequency of compounding, as 12, and we can get the effective interest rate as 10.47%. You can change a variable to find the effective rate for all the other periods, 10.38 for quarterly and 10.25% for half yearly compounding. In the case of continuous compounding, to find the effective rate, we do exponential nominal rate minus 1, and the answer is 10.52%. In the previous example, the cash flow is lump sum, that is deposited once. There are cases where the cash flow will happen periodically. Take the case of recurring deposits, where the cash is deposited at the end of the year every year and gets matured after a specified period. Such recurring cash flows are called annuity. Thus, an annuity is a series of cash flows made at fixed intervals for a specified number of periods. How would you find the future value of such annuities? You know that the formula you use will be FE equals A into 1 plus I raised to n minus 1 the whole divided by I. Let us take an example. An investor deposits rupees 1000 every year in a saving instrument. If it earns 6% compounded annually, how much amount will he receive at the end of 5 years? You know that 1000 rupees here is the annuity, 6% is the interest rate and n is 5 years. Let us substitute them and find the answer. We get 5637 rupees approximately. Let us see how to use Excel to find solution to this. Annuity is referred as PMT in Excel. We already know all the other arguments. So, let us open Excel and we want to know the future value. So, FV, again let us input rate, then NPER which is 5 here. We will now use PMT as it is a series of cash flows, and we will not put anything in PV as there is no lump sum involved, and let us ignore type for the moment and close the bracket. We get the same answer we got by using the formula. Now, let us make a change in the previous example. We assume that the 1000 rupees invested happened at the end of the year. Thus, the last 1000 rupees did not earn an interest. It is called ordinary annuity. It may so happen that the cash flow starts at the beginning of the period and each cash flows will be compounded for 1 extra year. Hence, the last cash flow will also earn interest for 1 year. It is called annuity due. How do we calculate the compounded value of an annuity due? Take a look at the formula you would use here. That is, FE equals A into 1 plus I raised to n minus 1 the whole divided by I multiplied by 1 plus I. Taking the previous example, just assume that the 1000 rupees is deposited at the beginning of the year. We find the compounded value after 5 years. We get 5975 rupees. Please note that it is higher than the ordinary annuity, obviously because interest rate is compounded for 1 more year. To do this with Excel, let us use the formula FV. Select the rate, that is 6%, NPER, that is 10, the PMT is 1000 and we will ignore the argument for PV. Now we have to use the argument type. Earlier we had ignored that, which means that it was an ordinary annuity. If it is an annuity due, we put 1 for the type, indicating that the cash flow occur from the beginning of the period, and here we get the same answer as we got with the formula. With this, I would like to conclude this session. Thank you.